Hey,
Hey
Glenn.
guy, hey, how are you?
Colin Cam.
Cam, nice
Nice
to
to virtually meet you.
got a very
Likewise.
impressive Blu-ray collection behind you.
Thank you, sir. One of your films or two of them are over there somewhere. Yeah, just such a unique horror film that you've made here. There's so many devil movies going around at the moment, but yours is easily the best. So
Oh,
Oh, thank
congratulations.
thank
you.
you. Thanks
Yeah,
a lot. Thanks a lot.
yeah, the devil's
And
about a bit at the moment, isn't he?
Mm.
Yeah.
he certainly is. I mean, the title itself of your film is just incredible. Like, what came first, the title or the story?
Huh. You know what? That's a good question. Yeah, I think the title actually did come along
Early.
pretty
It
early.
was, yeah.
Yeah, it maybe I have a very vague memory of us sort of pitching shit to each other
Mm.
in our old office around the corner here in South Melbourne, and it was obviously very vague at that stage, but I do remember the title,
Yes.
"Late Night with the Devil," and that
Yes.
feeling kind of catchy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
And suggesting where this thing might go.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a good
The old Roger,
springboard.
Roger Corman days where you just come up with a bit of artwork and make a movie about that. So,
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. So I was at the premiere of Scare Campaign way back when. That was like what, 8 years ago. It's hard to believe how long that was. So,
yeah.
how long after that film was made did the idea for Late Night come about?
I think we'd already had the idea, to be honest. I think
Really?
I think
Yeah.
after 100 Bloody Acres, we were just sort of, you know, yeah, we just pitched a bunch of ideas to our producer of that film,
Yep.
and Late Night was probably one of them. But we just didn't have a story to go with it. Yeah, we had maybe a
Sure.
title and this
Mm.
idea that shit goes down in a TV studio late at night. So Scare Campaign, for whatever reason, just felt it was just easier to write. Like
Okay.
we seriously turned that around in a year from
Yeah.
like here's a concept to it's greenlit and you're on set, which is
Yep.
unheard of. But yeah, and the Late Night was kind of just bubbling away in the background, and it took us another couple of years, I think, to get a first draft that felt we were confident we could share with people.
Yeah.
Awesome. When there is two of you creating something, does it take longer to reach a consensus, or are you both on the same page right from the start?
Mm.
Yeah, we're pretty much on the same page. Look, there's always going to be disagreements, and you know, ideas that one thinks
Mm.
sucks, but
Yeah,
um,
mostly his, of course.
mostly. Uh, but that's the wonderful thing about writing and drafting is you get all that shit out of your system, and
Mm.
any kind of disagreements or differing points of view we might have are kind of dealt with during that process.
Mm.
Hmm.
So by the time we get on set, I think we've got a pretty good idea of what we want,
Yeah.
and yeah, and it works very efficiently with both of us. I think look, we're getting better, we're getting faster at writing. There was probably a time in our early days where we just labored over stuff and it would take us forever, and
Mm.
but now I think we've got some good practices in place, and yeah.
Mm.
uh,
Yeah, I think the rubber's really hit the road with you guys now. This film is just gonna hopefully put you into the stratosphere. Like it's that good.
Well, thank you. I mean, we just hope, yeah, we don't have to wait another 5 or 6 years to make the next one. But we've certainly got lots of, I think, pretty cool ideas. It's just, yeah, it may be that people start asking
Yep.
stuff. Well, they are asking right now, what have we got? It's like,
Excellent.
yeah,
yeah,
better
yeah.
get right.
Mm.
Talking about the cast of this film, like you're probably sick to death of being asked the question, but like David Desmalchin, like is a perfect piece of
Yeah.
casting, and I can't imagine the film without him. And horror fans know him as a fellow horror fan. Can you
Yeah.
talk about how you lucked out with him?
Yeah. Look, it probably came from me reading a Fangoria article that he'd actually written.
Mm,
It was all about regional TV horror hosts from the 60s and 70s, guys he grew up with in the Midwest. And, just reading the article, you already felt this passion there for that world. And then also the fact that it's just Fangoria magazine,
yeah.
I'm obviously a horror fan.
Yeah.
So, the frame of reference is there.
And the guy is an amazing
And
character actor. He's an amazing actor, full
yeah,
stop.
yeah,
Yep.
And for him
Yep.
to, everyone knows him from these smaller parts in big movies, but that's a hard gig, to come on and create this fleshed out character when you've got 2 or 3 minutes of screen time. So we knew the guy could act, and we also knew he studied theater in Chicago, and he sort of trod the boards in Chicago for years. So yeah, he just seemed to have
Yeah, and
tick a
I
lot of
think just
boxes.
plus his look as well. A lot of
Mm.
people are commenting on just how he's got a 70s head.
Yeah.
It's relating him to John Cazale or those sorts of actors, you know,
Mm.
who weren't traditionally kind of
Matinee idol types, but
you know, I think he's still got some sexiness about him.
Yeah,
And there's a swagger, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's a total chameleon, you know.
yeah,
He just
100%.
immerse himself in a role and become that person for the duration. And yeah, he's super charming. Like in real life, he's a lovely, lovely guy. But I guess he's never just had the opportunity to play that that sort of part before.
Here's one little fact. While he was living here in Melbourne, this I think sums up the guy. We told him to go and visit Luna Park.
Yeah.
He discovered Luna Park has this ghost train, and you could not keep him off that train. He was going down there with his kids and just riding it over and over again.
That's hilarious. My next question was going to be like, did you have time to show him the sights of Melbourne while he was here?
Yeah, well, he had his family here, so they would do. I mean, when it came to weekends, we were just heads were in the movie, and we're you know, plotting our next move. But yeah, I know he
had a great time. He was getting invited to AFL games.
Yeah, that's right. His son became a Bombers fan for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I love that. I love that when they immerse themselves in the local culture and whatnot. Yeah. And but I imagine he just gets stopped on the streets wherever he goes. He's got such a recognizable face.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he got a little bit of that here, but you know, not so much that it distracted him. He probably would have liked a bit more attention.
I'm also interested though about Ingrid Torelli. I think she's wonderful playing Lily. She's having a good year too. I think she was in Force of Nature as well, which was released earlier. How did you find her?
Oh, that was through our casting director, Lee Pickford. So, I mean, there were certain cast members who, you know, like with David, it was like, this is the guy we want. Thank God we got him. You know, Ritz Orteria, who plays Gus, the sidekick, was a little kind of discovery of ours as well. Josh Quong-Tart, we'd worked with in Scare Campaign, obviously. And there were 3 or 4 roles where we kind of knew who we wanted, and that made life a bit easier. But then, you know, with Ingrid, with the character of Lily, that was a job for our casting director, Lee, who presented maybe 7 or 8 auditions, and there were some really good ones, but she was far and away the best of those. And then we met her in person. She came and did the old callback thing.
Yeah.
She was already doing that thing with the eyes where she'd stare, you know, deep into your soul. And it was just obvious she was the one. And I think she had this passion for the genre as well. She'd said that apparently even as a small child, she said she'd always wanted to play a psychopath. And she gets to play.
She got one better.
She got one better than that. Yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. She, as well as the rest of the cast, or the Aussie players, I should say, really nailed the American accent too. And that's the beauty of the film. Like you can't see through these accents, which is quite often like a downfall of a lot of Aussie movies that are trying to be American. Was it hard to find actors that could nail the accent?
Not really.
No.
I think Australians are so good at that stuff now because so many of them do work on them. You know, so many American productions are coming here. It's so much you've got to have nailed the American accent to get work these days. And
that's true.
Over for pilot season, and a lot of our cast, you know, Georgina, Laura.
They've all done American shows.
Yeah. And so we weren't so concerned about that. You know, in the past we've sort of advised younger up and coming filmmakers to not do that thing where you try to ape American accents. But yeah, we just knew that actors out there were good at that now, and so it wasn't a huge concern. We had some American producers on set a lot of the time, and there'd be the occasional, I think we got that pronunciation a bit off. You know, take that on board, and it was helpful.
Just a matter of tweaking here and there. Yeah, awesome. It's actually also nice to say that there aren't too many films that you can compare yours to, you know, because quite often you as an entertainment writer, I like to compare with other films. I can't do it with this one, which is great. but with that said, were there any films that you sort of leaned into for, you know, cues technically or just inspiration?
Many. Look, there's probably one good comparison to our film. There's a thing called Ghost Watch.
Yes.
That was like a BBC special from the early 90s hosted by Michael Parkinson. It was basically, you know, a War of the Worlds type hoax.
Yeah, right. Cool.
And that's well worth looking. I think it's now been released on Blu-ray. I mean, for many years, you couldn't even see it.
Yeah.
And it caused such an upset with the British public. You know, they BBC were getting complaints the next day, and the phones were really hot.
And someone
So
apparently had a heart attack, because of it.
They always have a heart attack.
Yeah, there's always something. Yeah, so they just buried it. And it's a film I think we knew about it, but we'd never seen it until maybe we were, 2 or 3 drafts into the script. So yeah, if you're looking for a comparison, that's
a good one.
Yeah.
But look,
there are a few though.
Yeah. So many films from that 70s period where the film set have influenced it, like Network and The King of Comedy, and then the horror films, like Videodrome,
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Oh, there's a beauty.
Isn't it
Absolutely.
great?
Scanners, for us getting Michael Ironside on to do that narration at the beginning. And even have there's about 3 or 4 posters floating around now, but one of the posters is very much inspired by the Scanners poster as well.
Is that the flame head one?
That one. And also there's they all are.
Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. And of course, the plaudits are starting to come in thick and fast. You've got people like Stephen King and Mick Garris, really championing the film. You kind of mentioned before, some people are asking questions, but has this opened doors now that you're getting this attention?
Certainly a few more doors have opened,
yes.
Since the last couple of films. So yeah, we're getting to meet some proper people, not just the mailroom boys.
Yeah, it's just because it just opened in the US 2 weeks ago, and our distributor in the US is IFC, and it's been their biggest opening weekend for any film they've ever had.
Amazing.
So that opens doors. People now want to chat. We're the same guys making the same stuff, but
Well, I want to see you two sitting at that Masters of Horror table. Like, that's where you belong. That's where you belong.
Oh, we bumped into Joe Dante a few days ago.
Oh, just casually bumped into Joe Dante.
Walking out of a screening of Late Night with the Devil.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
And what did he have to say? Do you love it?
He liked it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
In fact, that's a movie I could imagine in his head. Like it's got that kind of quirkiness to it.
For sure. You talk about influences. One film we've been referencing in our Q&As recently is The Howling, and that final scene in The Howling in the TV studio when Dee was transforming into the wolf.
100%. Never thought of that. Wow, cool.
It was a huge buzz for us. Yeah, you just bump into this guy walking out, and we had no idea. We thought maybe he was shopping with his wife. It's like, Mr. Dante, and he's like, yeah, we're 2 Aussie filmmakers. I just saw your movie.
Incredible.
And we exchanged details. Yeah, so we're in touch talking about stuff now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just read somewhere he's doing a remake of Little Shop of Horrors.
Roger Corman,
Little Shop of Halloween Horrors, it's called. But anyway, I'm going to ramble now. Thank you so much for taking time to chat. Like, I do love this film. I think it's one of the year's best horror films, and I hope everyone catches it. You've given us a new Halloween horror film. Like, it's something different.
Right. Yes, that was the plan. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
We are back in 5, 4.
Now, here's Mr. Midnight, Jack Darrow.
Oh, good evening, Night Owls, and thank you for allowing me into your living rooms once again. Well, Night Owls, we've got a heck of a show in store for you tonight, and I'm very excited for you to see it all unfold before your very eyes. I really hope you love it. Gosh, I hope you love it. Please love it.
I'm trying to host a nationally syndicated talk show.
And I'm trying to help you keep it on the air.
We all know how important it is to keep our sponsors and affiliates happy, but in my humble opinion, there is only one person who really matters in this whole darn crazy business. And that is you, our viewer.
You're meddling with things you don't understand.
Whoa! Now, as you know, here on Night Owls, we think it's very important to keep an open mind. Please welcome Dr. June Ross Mitchell and Lily, the young subject of the book, Conversations with the Devil.
I really don't think it's a good idea, Jack. She's becoming more unpredictable.
That's a good thing. That's why we still do live TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for a live television first as we attempt to commune with the devil.
Lily, can you hear me?
Good to see you again, Jack.
Lily, return to me.
This isn't about ratings anymore.
No one's going anywhere.
How could you let it happen, Jack? How could you let it happen?
Please be warned, anyone with young children in the room. What you're about to see
You okay, Jack?
is profoundly disturbing and shocking. You get out there, Mr. Midnight.